start a cooperative approach instead of the non-cooperative approach where everybody's watching the other, expecting them to make the first efforts. A cooperative approach, on the contrary, is a situation in which every country, every bloc gradually increases their level of ambition, seeing that the others are doing a commensurate effort, taking into account their level of developments, the challenges that their geography brings, and what have you. But everybody gradually increases their level of ambition to the point that we can reach our collective objectives. And that's why this dynamic of the Paris Agreement is absolutely fundamental. Now, the third kind of remarks I wanted to make is the business case for being involved in addressing climate change. And here there are several aspects to this. The first one is adaptation versus mitigation. On both aspects, there are huge business implications and business opportunities. Adaptation is analyzing the impact and seeing what it involves in terms of economic activities to adjust to the impact. To a certain extent, it's a synonym of resilience. We are talking a lot of building more resilient economies, and this is fundamental, because even if we achieve the goal that we have defined, we will still have to adjust to increasing impact, and that means also business implications. Mitigation is actually all the efforts to reduce the scale of the impact, and that also is very important from a business point of view, because that's what the consumers expect in many cases. That's what government regulations have factored into the business environment. And so again, these are new opportunities to develop new activities. So adaptation and mitigation. Second point that I wanted to stress on this notion of on this business case is the market forces. What we have here is some graphs about the relative cost of energy, and this is something that evolved with some market forces, and that's I think an invitation to take a step back from the politicization of the subject and to look what the market tells us. If you look at the price of the renewable energies compared to the price of coal, 10 years ago, coal per unit of energy generated was like in the middle of the pack. And renewables tended to be significantly more expensive. That's particularly the case for the solar energy, that's the graph on the top. But then there was a dramatic change for a variety of reasons. I mean, technology, regulation, customer demand, economies of scale, productivity, you name it. And what you have in 2017 is a redistribution of the relative cost of energies that make actually coal among the most expensive of energies to generate at the moment. So market forces have their own say in the choices of economic actors, and they sometimes call for a redistribution of priorities. But market forces are not enough. That's what I was saying earlier. We are not on track to reach the objectives that we agreed a few years ago. So it means that there is also a matter of collective choices that within our countries, within our local governments, within our communities, we have to make in order to reinforce our level of ambition and to address the challenges that we are facing. And here, I'm giving only an example, which is the issue of carbon pricing. Carbon pricing is a reflection that many governments at the national or local level are conducting in order to conduct the economic actors to integrate the externalities in terms of greenhouse gas emissions of their economic activity. In the European Union, there has been since 2005 an emission trading scheme in those industries that are known for generating most emissions. The idea is that those companies that are doing better than the target get emission allowances that I can trade with companies that are above the target. And so the first ones can get additional revenues because they are doing better, and the other ones can actually buy some time in order to continue to have higher emissions. But this gives clear price signals to the economic operators to change the way they organize their production and their activities. So it's the combination of all these things, the market forces, the clear regulatory signal, and the commitment of our societies, because the citizens are also consumers, and that's another way to drive the decisions of economic actors. The expectations of the societies are increasingly that we need to factor in those different aspects of climate change, and that's why we should in no way release the effort to pursue the objectives that were agreed at the Paris conference. As far as it is concerned, the European Union has taken a very ambitious stance, since our collective objective is to reduce our emissions by 40% in 2030 compared to the 1990 level. We are making progress towards that objective, and we collectively, as members of the European Union, our countries remain solidly committed to that objective, and we need to continue to lead this international effort and to seek global cooperation, because again, this is the way to achieve the objectives that we define.